Peace, 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 peace. In the now of the one, the only now and only one, I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for being here. Please like the live. Share the live. Give gifts if you feel called to, all that jazz. And a grand rising for everybody in the United States. I know it's early for y'all, so y'all just getting up. Had a bit of a day so far myself. I am on a different time schedule than y'all, so it's around like 9 or 10 o'clock over there where you guys are at. So thank you for joining me pretty early in the rising. Today I'm going to talk about, there's a trend, not a trend, I don't want to call it a trend, but there's this viral video that's going around, and it's a debate with Jordan Peterson. It's Jordan Peterson versus 20 atheists is what it was. And they were having a debate about Christianity and the existence of God and all that good stuff. And these debates are interesting to me, especially that these debates are going viral now. It's interesting because there is a shift in consciousness in regards to what people believe or who people believe God is, or just the existence of God at all. And in the debate, like the Christian Jordan Peterson, he was getting absolutely demolished. Like, these people were crushing him in regards to their talking points, what they were saying, their stance, what they believed. They articulated themselves very well in their belief in atheism because they're atheists. All right, but from what I gathered watching these debates and these back and forths in regards to the existence of God or not, the atheists, they had very clear and concise points, but the one factor that they aren't putting into their equation is themselves, right? So let me close this door. So during these debates, again, they were having it was a really good conversation. Jordan Peterson was not holding his own whatsoever. He was getting absolutely crushed. And the atheists were making very good points, very clear and concise points. But again, the one thing that they didn't factor in during their debate, which would kind of, I'm not going to say debunk it, but would add a higher element to the conversation, is themselves. See, there's a subjectivity within the experience of life. As they're debating a God that exists within the Bible and the way that God exists in Christianity, the idea of God is completely different than the idea of God for those who believe, know, and feel that God lives within them, right? That it's an inward experience, that God is acting out its expression and its beingness through all that is. Especially the human experience, the human being, because this consciousness, this field of intelligence that's highly aware, it knows itself. That mirror of self-awareness is mirrored in the human experience because we have that quality of self-awareness. Like, I'm aware of myself. I'm aware that I'm something. I'm aware that there's something going on here. Right? That factor is vital to put into the equation of the existence of God, the existence of the source, whatever, right? So again, these atheists were crushing Jordan Peterson, but the debate needs to happen where someone that has an understanding about the nature of reality in a subjective way gets put on these platforms. They don't ever want to put somebody that's like, yo, I'm God. Like, talk to me now. Talk to God. You're asking about the existence of God, and you're speaking to people who believe that God exists in a book or in some objective reality that's going to float down on earth and save everyone. But then they don't want to speak to those who are saying, hey, look, God dwells within me and I'm channeling God right now. I'm speaking as God. Let's talk. Yeah? That type of conversation would be a completely different debate, right? And you're going to see it. These debates are going viral. Like, it was one Christian versus 20 atheists. And Jordan Peterson was the Christian. And he was getting demolished. He didn't have any real points. He would just concede and say, well, if that's what you think, it's like, whoa, like, you're not making a good argument for your belief system. And if you're saying that my belief system doesn't need an argument, why go on a show where you're going to debate about belief systems, right? So that kind of, you can't hide behind the fact that, hey, well, look, well, whatever you believe, this is exactly what he was saying during the debate. He was like, well, whatever you believe in, it is what it is. It's like, bro, come up with formulate something that's going to make sense. Even if it doesn't resonate with the person, let's have a back and forth. Don't just concede, it's a debate, right? And it wasn't frustrating for me, I was just observing it. And I'm the type of person that can watch something objectively and say, okay, this side of the argument completely destroyed the other side, whether I hold the same belief system of either one. So Jordan Peterson is a Christian and he was debating atheists. I can easily say that the atheists absolutely destroyed Jordan Peterson and they had clear and concise points and they were making their argument. I'm not an atheist and I'm not a Christian. I believe that God lives within every single nuance, every single atom of existence, including me. I'm speaking as God, with God, through a creation of what we call God. But this is my point. They don't have these debates with the awakened gods, with those who know the truth about the nature of reality. They argue old paradigm belief systems that were given to us by the Matrix. Right? The control structure and the control apparatus gave us the belief system that God's apart from us, a Christian-based type of belief system, duality belief system. And then they take the main stage in these debates, peace, gratitude, and the now. Right? Peace, 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 peace. I appreciate y'all for being here for real. Y'all make sure y'all like the live, share the live, give gifts if you feel called to, only if you feel called to. There's going to come a day where they can't ignore those who know the subjectivity of reality. And then they put us on the debate stage. They don't want us on the debate stage because they're debating the existence or non-existence of God. And one side is saying that God, Jesus is God, and that whatever, and then the other side is saying God doesn't exist at all. Well, what we're saying is that God lives within me, and that the voice that you're hearing is the voice of God in the now, not from a book, from the one who's experiencing the life. Let's do that. Let's go there. Let's start from there. And then, but the atheists come from the position of, well, everything can be proven scientifically, and there's a linear path from the beginning of humankind or the beginning of existence, the Big Bang reality, and then up until this point where we got here. And it's like, okay, I can see that from the linear perspective of a timeline happening, but then you have to study the nature of time, the nature of matter, the nature of what we're in, and then you start to study different dimensions, right? They would have to concede that there are dimensional realities that exist and that we've existed in a third dimensional reality, height, width, length, and the fourth of time, right? And in that construct, if this is a construct and there's a third dimension, then there must be a fourth and a fifth, and there must be a second. There has to be something there has to be a holistic picture that comes out of this separate reality that we think we're experiencing. And when you really dig deep enough into that picture, that whole picture, not just the parts, you start to realize that whatever this is, there is an intelligent design to it. Because I'm an intelligent being who's having a conversation with other intelligent beings discussing the nature of what we're in. And then we're on top of a platform or a planet that's intelligent in and of itself, that gave rise to the being that we are, or at least the physical apparatus, which is the human body. There's something special that's going on here. Yes, I am. I'm still out here. There's something special that's going on here that both atheists and Christians are missing. There's something far more special than just that story and that story, right? Our experience alone being here, if you wipe out all of the human flawed designs of the matrix and work and money and jobs and this and that, if you wipe all that out and we could all just stop and actually sit around and converse about what reality is, we don't have any need for anything. We don't have any fear of lack. We have been introduced to factors within our human existence that don't allow us to ponder what we're in. This leaves so many questions unanswered that if we had the chance, time, and energy to discuss, then we'd come to these different conclusions. Conclusions that would surpass Christianity and surpass what we would call atheism. Right? But this is the beauty of the intelligent design. We, on a higher level of reality, designed this particular reality so that we would be able to question it, so that there would be a mystery, so that there would be something to be unearthed. And then this person can have this belief, and that person can have this belief, and this person can have this belief, and then ultimately we come together and realize, hey, can we agree on a couple? Let's agree on a few things. We're here. All of us that are having these conversations, we're here. Despite what you believe, despite what I believe, we're sharing this. That's one. We can talk about it and understand the nature of what we're trying to convey to one another, at least a little bit. We may not understand the nuances of what we say to each other, but we get that I'm trying to talk about something. We can agree on that. I'm trying to describe something, right? And then we find the set of factors that we agree on. And then from there, we discuss what we're in, right? Lock in. Source been calling me to begin meeting with my soul tribe in the physical. Very exciting times right now. I agree the same thing. And I said, when I touch back down in the United States of America, you will feel it. You'll feel it. And I'm going to be back. And we're going to, again, I believe that it's definitely time in the flesh to meet up with those that we meet up with digitally. It's definitely game time. Y'all make sure y'all like the live, share the live, give gifts if you feel called to, only if you feel called to. It's game time, right? The magic of life is occurring through us, with us. You see it, you feel it, you're experiencing it. There's nobody in the external world that can convince you otherwise. Because even as they're trying to convince you that this is just a mundane reality, live and die reality, you can feel their energy trying to convince you of it. And that energy in itself, you can describe it as a force. And they don't even see it. They don't even see that there's this force that's coming from them when they're trying to describe that there's no force at all. Right? That there's a power, there's an intelligence, there's a life force that you can't necessarily see, but can be felt. I feel you when you're talking. I feel you when you're not. Can we agree on that? I feel you when you're sitting next to me. I know you're sad. I know you're happy. I know you're mad. How? If logically, from your vantage point, I'm supposed to be this separate being over here, apart, and you're over there. Well, then you talk about the fact that we're the same species. Well, I can get that, but I can feel the tree too. And the cat and the dog. I know when the dog's sad. I know when the dog's hungry or when I know. How? We exist in a field of energy. And all of it exists in the field. The dog, the cat, the sun. That field is highly aware. It's intelligent. We communicate with that field, with the energy that we give off, how we think, how we feel, our perspective. And every other living organism does the same thing. It's just something special about that human that can actually talk about it and talk to each other about it and have conversations about it. Like, hey, you guys feel that? Y'all feel this energy? Like, what is that, right? Even the ability to be able to articulate what it is that we're feeling is profound. The dogs aren't sitting around like, you guys feel that? Like, that's not how they converse with one another, from what we know at least, right? We have this quality of being self-aware, self-referral, meaning going to your own mind and contemplating. What could this be? Could this be this? Or could this be that? What am I? Who am I? What is this? That type of level of consciousness, man, it's profound and something that can't be ignored by trying to just sweep it under the rug. This is what the atheist would do. This is also what the Christian would do. Trying to ignore the subjectivity of the experience of the one. You're the one, I'm the one, we're the ones. From my vantage point, right? From my vantage point, I'm the one who experiences life. I'm the one who validates whatever I read, whatever I hear, whatever I taste, whatever I touch. I'm the validator. I say yes or no to whatever information comes in. I say yes or no to whatever sound I hear. Is that valid? I'm the one. And from your vantage point, the same. So as you're listening to me, you're hearing it, you're using self-referral. You're going to the self and saying, does this make sense? Like, you don't need an external source, right? So there's really no, see, even with the books and the videos and the me that I'm on here live and talking to you, there's still a level of self-referencing. You're listening to me, it's going into your mechanisms, you're determining whether or not it's something that makes sense to you. So you're acting as the God of the movie of life. Like when you're watching, like literally, like when you're watching Netflix, like I was watching Power not too long ago. I'm the God of that movie. When I'm watching Power, I'm the God of the movie because I see all the moving parts. It's the same with you. There are some things that escape your awareness, but for the most part, when you're not engaged fully, meaning like you're just a piece of the puzzle, you step back and observe life, you act as the watcher of the movie. There's something special about that. Don't allow anybody to make you feel like there's not. That's a special quality. Self-awareness, self-referral, reflection. That's a quality that is of pure divinity. It can't be anything else but divine. Man, the fact that we're here, divine. People want this to just be just this dead universe. And they use these words, and the way that they try to describe reality is as if we live in a dead reality as they're living a life and speaking in a live reality, in a breathing reality. Right? They want so badly to ignore it. It's so amazing to simply exist. Indeed, I agree. You guys make sure you like the live, share the live, give gifts if you feel called to, only if you feel called to. Share this with your people. Tap the screen, all the good stuff. Let's make consciousness go viral the same way that these damn debates are going viral, atheist versus Christian. This is a new age. Let the atheist debate the one who believes God is within. Let the atheist debate that being. It doesn't have to be me, per se, but there are many versions of me that will crush an atheist. And a lot of the times, these humans that believe that there's no intelligent or divine source to this are using all external means to, and then they use linear time and timelines, and well, at the beginning was this, and then this single cell organism turned into that doesn't account for self-awareness. That doesn't account for the fact that I can sit here and ponder the universe, ponder what I'm in, study the human. Lock in with me, please. Like, even logically, think about this. How could from the beginning of the human being, right, this single-celled organism become this thing that we are now, and then have this level of awareness and consciousness to not only study its surroundings, but study itself, creating tools to study its own cellular structure and DNA and the atoms of its own existence, to come to the conclusion that everything that seems to be material is made of atoms, and those atoms are made of empty space, right? There has to be some level of divinity there. It's not just this, nothingness, right? Peace. Even the atheists will awaken. They are just stuck in a pattern loop. Indeed, I agree. A lot of atheists are just people mad at the world. I agree with that as well. But it's also not only just mad at the world, but they are mad at the specific program of dogmatic religions. They often reference the books and the Bibles and the stories in these books. They reference how, if there's a moral God, if God is moral, right? We're talking about a moral God, right? Why would God tell Cain to kill Abel? And why would, like, things like that. They reference these stories within these books. And a lot of the time, these, first and foremost, these modes of expression in regards to spirituality are flawed in themselves. They're flawed in themselves. This guy came down and he's the only one, and then bow down and I must pray to this person. No. The subjectivity of simply being here has to be put into the equation. Because the more you study yourself holistically, subjectively, you start to realize that you're intimately hooked into the fabric of reality itself. You get to understand that by experiencing other people's energy. How can I feel you if I'm not hooked into the unseen? I can't see the energy that you're giving off, but I can feel it. So that means that whatever's in between you and I must be filled with something that we're communicating with on a level that we can't see. As simple as fuck. And on that level, that's the connection. That's God. That's the source. That's the light. That's the whatever you want to call it. Right? Yeah. What blocks us from that, please tap the screen, like the live, share the live, give gifts if you feel called to, only if you feel called to support those that are trying to help the collective remember who they are. Make sure that you're at least liking the live, sharing the live. I know a lot of the time it sounds like a podcast, so people just be like chilling and working out, doing their thing and just listening, but please make sure you support in that way. Also, this live stream and the live stream I had earlier with 360 The Alchemist will be on YouTube, so go subscribe to my YouTube. Also, there's a YouTube called The Tribe. It's with me and my girlfriend. You guys go subscribe to that one as well. Support me in that way. Even if you can't support monetarily, the free stuff helps as well. So liking the live, sharing the live. I'm already at war with the algorithm. We're at war. I'm already at war with the algorithm, so I got to fight that shit every day. But peace to y'all. Thank you. If you guys want to support me directly, no Cash App, no Cash App. If you guys want to support me directly, you can hit the PayPal. Cash App doesn't work out here, so I haven't been able to access my Cash App. So if you guys do want to support, you can hit the PayPal, Stephen Lee 177. Yes, that is my Earth name, Stephen Lee. Yes, yes, yes. But thank you, Sierra. Thank you so much. If you don't mind, Sierra, I'm going to make you a moderator, if you don't mind. Just for when you pop in and you want to, do some stuff. Here we go. Lock in, right? So at the end, do some stuff. Here we go. Lock in, right? So at the end of this cycle, which we're at the end of the cycle. So now everybody's asking questions about the nature of themselves, reality. We're all having identity crises and fucking people are going crazy, spiritual psychosis. There's so much information, right? There's so much information that we have this. You got to remember that our brains, our bodies are processing data, information. And if your body isn't on point, then you're ingesting information all day. Like we scroll a lot. That's information. That's information. When someone's speaking to you, that's information. When someone's sad and you feel it, that's the information of how they feel. It's information. It's all information. So when you're scrolling through TikTok all day and you're like what they call doom scrolling, you're picking up mad information. So much information that your body becomes overwhelmed to the point where you start to fucking, let me put this down. But it also becomes an addiction. So it becomes an overwhelming addiction, right? You're overwhelmed by how much data you're trying to process. But once you put the phone down, it's as if you kind of need it like a drug, right? That's why we have to ground the knowledge, ground the information, and the newly awakened human beings have to stop being so addicted to AI, because AI can give you and regurgitate some information from the collective. It only got it all from the collective, the books, the videos, the conversations, everything. That's what AI is. It's just a compilation of data. And the newly awakened people are just typing shit into these chatbots, and they're getting so much information, and they're not grounding the knowledge. They're not going out into nature. We talked about nature in the last session. They're not going out into nature, 444, where I am, peace, right? They're not Grounding the information, grounding the knowledge. What does this mean? This means, see, lock in with me. When you hear something, like I'm speaking to you, I'm giving you information. That information is going into your auric field. It's being downloaded into your beingness. Now, if that energy isn't grounded, meaning you're not going out into nature, sitting out into nature, allowing the energy or information that you got to go into the earth, which you're connected to. So it's like a cord, like an invisible cord. You hear the information, it goes into your body. You ground it into the earth. It goes back into your body. Now, anywhere you're at on the planet, anyone you speak to, they can't shake you because you've grounded the knowledge. It's not just intellectual. It wasn't just downloaded into the brain and you can just regurgitate some shit like school. It's a grounded knowing. That's what grounding yourself really means. Is getting out into nature, connecting your energy field with the energy field of the planet. What you've downloaded from the cosmos, from a Moon Manti, or from a book you read, or from a song you heard, or a dance you danced, when you ground that energy into the planet, it becomes a knowing, as opposed to just an intellectual, something that you just know in your mind. It's in my mind. No, it's grounded now. You could speak to somebody about it. Somebody can come up to you. You won't get emotional when you have these conversations. A lot of people who have these debates and conversations, they get very emotional about their belief systems because their belief systems are on shaky foundation. It's not grounded. You understand? Please like the live, share the live, give gifts if you feel called to. This live session will also be on YouTube, so you guys can subscribe to my YouTube. I just actually put one up earlier today. I'm going to get more consistent with putting these live sessions up. And yeah, make sure that you guys subscribe. I don't have to use nature. I plugged right into the swirl field of consciousness stream. This is a beautiful ability to do as well. Our imaginative happenings can help us ground as well. You don't have to actually go out into physical nature. This is known, but when you're advanced in consciousness, you use your imagination to do everything that you'd like to do, grounding or otherwise. But it feels so much better to be in the natural environments as opposed to just being in your home or being trapped in these matrix types of geometric structures. To go out into nature physically is a healing experience for sure. The trees aren't worried about the bills. The animals aren't worried about the drama. That's not the energy that they give off, right? They're connected to the planet. They're downloading information from the field. They're getting it. They're there. So when you sit out on the rock and you sit with the trees and you vibing out, it's different, right? I will agree it's amazing to be in nature. And I would agree as well with you, sweet reflection of mine, that your imaginative happenings can help you do anything. So you can imagine yourself being grounded. You can imagine streams of light pouring into you. Your imagination matters. First and foremost, your imagination is how you got here in the first place. That's how you got here. You imagined yourself at the highest version of you, imagined this into being, and here you are. Boom. So from there, you start to realize that while you're in, this is the ultimate manifestation of God's imagination. While you're in it, you kind of forgot. So now you start to realize that, okay, if my imagination or the highest version of me, if that being's imagination got me here, then I can use my divine imagination to create the reality that I desire while I'm here. Lock in, peace. I went to a silent retreat last week, 221 acres of nature. It was magical. Now let's get a moment of silence for that silent retreat. Because although I fill the silence with talking, because that's the reason why we come on live to hear people have these conversations, the silence is really the truth. And that's where you hear everything, is in the silence. I can talk for days because I've been in silence for so long. That's the irony of everything. The more you sit in silence, the more you have to say, but the less you'd like to say it, because it's like, there's no point. This is why I come on TikTok to have these conversations with y'all, because you get it. So I'm able to say the things that I learned in silence, and I can speak it out loud, because you've probably spent time in silence for so long that you get it. what I'm trying to convey to you, because you're me. And man, like it never gets old. That's one thing about it. It never gets old. Like, I've been on the ride since I was 22 Earth years old. I'm 34, but it never gets old. I'm always uncovering. I'm always discovering. I'm always learning from y'all. I'm always growing. There's always more, but there's really nothing, right? It's like, it's crazy, the craziest conundrum. Like, there's always more, but there's really nothing. You guys make sure you like the live, share the live, give gifts if you feel called to. Become a part of my subscription-based community at the bottom. Hit the star at the bottom. Become a subscriber today for all those who wish to support me in that way. If you want to support me in other ways, you can click the link in my bio, All Things Wu Man T. Subscribe to my YouTube. These will be on the YouTube. So when I'm done with this, I'm going to put this on the YouTube so I can watch it back too. Because when you're channeling sometimes, you don't even hear what you said. You just said some shit. It's like, damn, I just said some shit. Like, I got to go back and watch this, because the me that I think I am is being used by the real me, the me that exists beyond space-time, that's looking in on this reality and just like speaking through this apparatus that I associate as myself. And sometimes you just talk, and then you got to look back like, wow. And I figured that out through the music, right? Because I'm a musician. And there's times where I'm making songs and I channel these songs, and I listen back and I'm like, I just came to fuck off. I just bodied that. That was bodied. But who wrote that? I remember writing it, but who wrote that? Be feeling like that, right? Like, there's something that took you over. And like, artists like Michael Jackson have described it the same way, right? Like, there's just this, it's a channeling, right? Do you have to meditate when you visit nature? You don't have to do anything when you visit nature. You could simply be. These definitions of meditation are they're many. It's not just, no, it's not just, the act of meditation is mindfulness, awareness, and just, you could be playing basketball, that could be your meditation. You could be singing, that could be your meditation. You could be praying, that could be your meditation. Or just sitting out in nature. Or you could be closing your eyes, shutting down the senses, which most people know as meditation. Sitting in nature, closing your eyes, kind of like taking the senses inwardly. That's what most people know meditation to be, but there are many different definitions of meditation, right? You don't got to be bound to nothing. In this journey, be bound to nothing. Be open to everything. Be bound to nothing. Like, the reason why I'm able to articulate myself the way I am, the reason why I'm not as rigid, the reason why I'm able to read a comment that either agrees with me or not and still keep it peaceful is because I'm open. I'm open to learn. I'm not above learning. I'm not above hearing somebody's perspective. I'm not above it. I'm not better than you. I am you. So if you have a different vantage point as me or than me, obviously you do, because you're in a different corner of space-time, right? You can give me something from what you've gathered in that body, right? And that's the point of all of this, is that the one consciousness, the one field, somebody just came in with the name Tap the Field, that one field of consciousness, that one awareness is using all the bodies. It's using all the bodies to experience itself, and then to gather that information and bring it back to itself so that it can learn more about itself. It's like, how can I learn about myself if I am myself? I'm gonna give you a mirror of that, right? It's like, I'm able to be aware of my girlfriend and all the things that she does or doesn't do. I'm easily aware of that. But when she points out my shortcomings, it's like, oh shit, it's like news to me. Like, I didn't see it, right? Like, I wasn't aware of it, but you made me aware because you were observing me. It's kind of like, that's how God works, or the consciousness. It's like, consciousness was always itself. It's like, oh, I wonder how I can get to know myself. Well, this is what I'll do. I'll split myself off into many different versions of myself and many different experiences, diverse experiences. And then I'll wipe my memory and interact with myself up until I realize that it was just me the whole time. And that's that one consciousness that's looking through every single eye. remembering itself in this game of life and in the matrix. And now we're at the end of that cycle. We're at the end of that learning process. We're at the end of that, and you're that consciousness. I am as well. And we're at the end of that. Thank you so much for being the end. Thank you so much for being the end. Thank you so much. I am tired of it. I know you have been as well. We all are. We're tired of interacting with each other in the ways that we've been interacting with each other. I'm this, I'm that, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I got this car, I got this money, I got the and all these different hierarchies that we've created for ourselves and identities that we go to war over and with. And that's over now because we realize it. We remember we're not in the dream. We're in the dream, but we're not enamored by the dream so much that we don't remember. What will you recommend to do every day if you are trying to manifest? I would recommend being more than doing. Tap into the field. This field of consciousness pervades all that exists. So if there's something within the existence that you're trying to bring towards you, you must be it. Feel yourself to be one with that field. Feel yourself to be one with existence. This is the first thing you need to do, is to remember that you're one with all that is, and that what you're trying to attract or manifest exists in the same field as you. You are money. So when you hear people say, I am money, no. You literally are money. Money comes from the same field of consciousness as you do, as the body, you, that you think you are in this separate experience. Well, I am abundance. Abundance is a quality of consciousness. Peace is a quality of consciousness. I am consciousness. Joy is a quality of consciousness. I can't be separate from these different qualities. I can only block myself off by believing that I'm separate from it. So getting a holistic picture of what reality is, right, is the first step. It's beyond doing. The problem with the human race is that we've been doing for thousands of linear years. Fucking doing shit. Going to work and going to war and all that shit that we've been doing for so long, right? So be more than you do, but have a balance with doing things. It's a balance, because if you're not giving yourself time to contemplate life, reality, yourself, you lose yourself within the doing. You lose yourself within the job. You lose yourself within your mom and your family. You lose yourself. You got to come back to yourself and give yourself a fucking break. Give your mind a break. It's processing so much shit daily. Right? Love this human. So glad I found you in here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for projecting that love towards me. I accept it and send it back to you tenfold. It means the absolute world. Let me give you a follow. I'm going to give you a follow. Thank you for being. Thank you guys for the support. It means the world. Please like the live, share the live, give gifts if you feel called to. Only if you feel called to, if you wish to support my personal incarnation. If you wish to support it, you can hit me directly. You can hit the PayPal. I don't care if it's $1. It means the absolute world. Thank you in advance. Let's spread consciousness. Let's spread this, if we want our society, because we're already moving into we're in a golden age of wisdom, a golden age of art, and it's a renaissance. We're in that era, right? Obviously, there's a technological component to it. Yeah, but we're not gonna, those that have a higher state of consciousness, we're not gonna allow ourselves to be overthrown by technology. We're in a renaissance of awareness, a renaissance of love, a renaissance of art. And man, I'm telling you, this is the greatest time to be alive on the planet Earth, because the human beings something's clicking in us. Because again, that network, there's a telepathic communication going on between us. That words, yes, I'm using words, but the reason why you want to stay around is because the energy underneath the words. You feel that I'm sincere, and I am. My intention's pure. So you feel that. So that's why you stick around for a little longer. You're like, I like this guy, right? It's no different than us just sitting around and thinking. When I'm sitting around and meditating, contemplating, I'm sending off, I'm a receiver and a transmitter of energy to the field. So when I'm thinking and I'm feeling and I'm contemplating and imagining, I'm sending off that frequency to the field of consciousness and it's hitting you. And you're getting it, and you start to contemplate, and then you do the same thing. You start thinking and you start meditating and praying and sending love, and that energy is being sent out to the field of consciousness, and other human beings are picking up on it telepathically. Then they start to ask questions. What the fuck am I in? Why do I have to go to work? I don't want to do. And they're like, out of nowhere, I just started asking these questions. I bet. I bet. Because you're picking up from the other versions of you. And we're starting to ask questions as opposed to not. And just following the train, following the herd and the sheep and the matrix controlled system. I love you guys. I really, really do. Thank you guys so much for the support. It means the world. Make sure you click the link in my bio. All things Moon Man T are there. If you want to buy a copy of my book, it's on Amazon.com. The link is in my bio. If you want the book to go directly to your phone, the link's in my bio as well. It's at the bottom. It is called Magic Music Triumph. It's about my physical incarnation in this lifetime, all the things that how I gathered the ascension energies and all that good stuff. And it's also about my music career. I wrote that book when I was 26. My first book when I was 24. That book is called The Diary of Moon Man T, God Within. And all of these things are available on Amazon, and the link is in my bio. If you'd like to have a one-on-one session, a one-on-one session consists of an hour of conversation with yours truly via Zoom. It could be about whatever you want it to be about. It could be about consciousness and life and the dream realm and manifestation and whatever. Or blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, which I specialize in as well. NFTs and all that good stuff. So if you want to learn more about those things, click the link in my bio. All things Moon Man T are there. Subscribe to my YouTube. That's one of the biggest things for me. Subscribing to my YouTube. These videos will be put on my YouTube. This is a great way to support me. Also subscribing at the bottom. It is a paid subscription. So if you guys do have the monetary means to subscribe, please do. $2.99 a month. $2.99 a month. It always support your creators. Support those who are coming on here, who are giving you alternative news, alternative ways of thinking. Because as you scroll, you will see these energies that are at play. And most of them don't have your best interests at heart. They're usually furthering the matrix, furthering identity, furthering fear, furthering jealousy and hierarchy and class and domination and all that good stuff, right? I appreciate you all. I really, really do. If you guys do want a one-on-one session, please click the link in my bio. I'd love to sit and talk with you. Hey, click the link in my bio. All things Moon Man T are there if you would like to have a session. I'll be back within the next couple of hours. I'm gonna go film with my girlfriend. We have a YouTube called The Tribe. We talk about relationship stuff, our travels. I am in Egypt right now if you don't know. So you can click the link in my bio, subscribe to our YouTube as well. All things Moon Man T. You are loved, honored, and respected as if you are me because you are me. Thank you guys for the support and the love. I'll be back very soon. Ashe.